Well, hello, everyone. I'm your host, Danny Dickerson, here with my fabulous co-host, Susan Elliot. Susan, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Happy summer. Happy summer.
Indeed. As we're recording this, I'm just coming off of, almost 3 weeks of family vacation to the Carolinas with my family. We went to the beach, we went to Asheville, and we spent some time in Charleston. But boy, am I glad to be out of that humidity. Whew. It's hot down there.
Quite different. I grew up on that side of the country, but now live on the West Coast. So I know very well what that's like, getting used to it. It's a different kind of heat. That's for sure.
Indeed. All right. Well, with that, shall we transition? Let's talk about some secret shopping.
I'm so excited about this because just the nature of the secret shopping has this kind of clandestine feel to it. And it is such a valuable way to gain insights into the properties we own, the properties we're evaluating for ownership, that we're looking into purchasing, and then the properties in the area. So much of our analysis is based on comparables or comps. So what are the other things that, where else can people go to find homes or to stay in hotels in the area, whatever asset class we're looking at? So tell us about what your trip to North Carolina was like.
Yeah. And so I was so grateful that I got a chance to do this. I don't get to do it very often. But we were staying near Wilmington, and we have a couple of properties in Wilmington, North Carolina. And first of all, this market, oh my gosh, if you have not been in Wilmington, it is just exploding. There are so many new developments happening all over the place. And there wasn't a ton of backed up traffic, but I could tell that within the next few years, there's going to be some traffic problems because there's a lot of cars and they're going to have to build up some new infrastructure because there's just so much growth happening. I mean, if you think about it, right? As people are moving to remote work or looking for remote work opportunities, they don't want to live in the middle of nowhere, or they don't want to live where, it's super expensive, like here in the Bay Area where I am. They want access to those amenities like beaches and, nice shopping, nice food and restaurants, but they don't want to have to pay those high prices. And Wilmington is one of those up and coming markets that is just, people are finding this little seaside town, and it's not so little anymore. But right outside of Wilmington is Leland, where two of our properties are located. And, it was my first time in Wilmington or Leland. And I was struck by just how accessible the whole area is, and how much of everything there is. There's all the amenities. You've got good schools. You've got a good number of jobs moving into the area. And so I got to, on this one day, it was a week or two ago now, I got to leave my kids with my husband, and I got to go put on my secret shopper hat. And just for the listener, just so you have some context, obviously, every week, sometimes every day, we're following up with our property managers who are our boots on the ground. They're taking care of these properties on a day-to-day basis. So all of the maintenance, all of the repairs, the landscaping, all of the rents, the tenant applications, they're taking care of all of that. And we as asset managers, we're making sure that we're working hand in hand with them to execute on the business plan, make sure everything's going according to plan, and to adjust as needed. But, it's like double checking your work. That's what I think of when I think of secret shopping.
Mm-hmm. Little differences. And then you went and actually saw those other properties. And so you were able, I would assume, be able to say, they weren't doing this at this one, or they were, and even to get more ideas of how to level up our presence in the market. So tell us about what you found at the comparables you shopped.
Yeah. So they were all quite different. They were all class A or B plus properties. So they were all really nice, but it was just little things, right? Like sometimes they didn't have a sign for the leasing office, and I was stuck wandering around trying to figure out where I could talk to somebody. Sometimes the parking lot wasn't paved very nicely, or the first impression I would drive up and I'd see, oh, some of the exterior just looked kind of dated. Or sometimes there was one property I went to where the parking lot, like the way that it was arranged was kind of awkward. And I noticed that as I was driving through. I looked at the pools. There were some with really nice pool furniture, some with not so nice pool furniture, some with people who were actually in the pools, some without people in the pools, some with lots of cars parked outside, which these days is not necessarily a bad thing. We used to say if you see a lot of cars parked, it's not necessarily a good thing because that means people aren't working during the day and you want people to be out working. But these days, it could be
not
work.
true anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The world has changed.
Yeah.
But it
wow.
Really
did you talk to any of the residents? Were you able to ask them how they liked where they lived?
Yeah. So I did talk to a couple of people. I didn't want to disturb them too much because they were enjoying their time. But yeah, I asked them, what it's like to live here. I told them I'm thinking of potentially moving here, and not even to hear like them, because I didn't need them to sell me on, oh, there's a bike storage here and there's this, but really to hear the tone of voice and to hear their excitement. And I did hear that, and they told me about, oh, you're going to love it here. I moved here, several months ago, and it's such a quiet community. I love it here. I have my dog, or I have my kids. And, just to hear about their experience from their perspective, was just added another layer, to the secret shopping, to my knowledge about what it would be like to actually live in this community.